New tonight, a celebration of life after nearly 1,200 people were killed in Louisiana when Hurricane Katrina tore through the southeastern part of the state 20 years ago today. Katrina made landfall an hour southeast of New Orleans as a Category 3 hurricane.
These levees collapsed, killing nearly 1,400 people in total, changing New Orleans forever. A Matthews woman lived through it all, and tonight she relives the horror, now 20 years later, with Channel 9's Hannah Getz.
When we think back to the story of our lives, there are certain pages.
This is obviously the home that my parents built.
Certain chapters.
So the water was actually up through the entire part of our first level of the home.
That change who we are.
Your life, right? And here it is sort of displayed on the side of the road. Nobody was coming to rescue you.
For Corey Millette, that chapter was 20 years ago.
I remember very vividly the morning that the storm came into the city. My dad and my mom were standing in my grandparents' living room watching the television and watching the news reports.
Yeah, you can see where people hacked their way out.
Watching water just rise rapidly as soon as those levees broke.
Millette grew up just 15 minutes from downtown New Orleans.
This is the Superdome here.
Oh,
you can see
yeah.
the damage on the top of the roof.
And in August of 2005, she was days away from starting her freshman year of college when Hurricane Katrina forced her family to evacuate.
In one of the news reports, they were doing this overhead kind of like camera shot from a helicopter, and our home is right here, and we could see that the entire area was underwater. And so it's like in that moment, you know, we were able to really quickly see that everything my parents had worked for was gone in an instant.
Her family lost everything but their lives and the college supplies Millette took with her.
I was so emotional and just devastated for my parents, and I felt so guilty, right? Saying, I'm gonna go off and start this new part of my life while my parents are having to rebuild everything that we've ever known. And I'll never forget my grandfather saying to me, he looked me in the eyes and he said, Corey, we all have a job. Your parents' job right now is to focus on rebuilding and reestablishing their life. And your job is to go to college and to start your life.
Her next chapter brought her to Charlotte, to Johnson & Wales University.
I remember going home for my very first break from school was in a FEMA trailer. You know, and I remember sleeping on the floor in my parents' business.
While navigating the difficult years after Katrina, she found an unexpected calling in Charlotte to be the director of age-level ministries at Matthews United Methodist Church.
It was like there was a way that God was able to redeem such a really difficult situation in my life.
Over her last 13 years with the church, she has made an impact on hundreds of kids' lives.
I lived it myself, and you know, and when you're in the thick of those traumatic experiences, you oftentimes feel like all hope is lost. And I really do feel like it's so important for all of us, whether you're in a church or not in a church, our calling as humans is to bring hope to other people. I am just so blessed that I get to do that with our teenagers that are here at Matthews.
20 years later, 20 new chapters full of change and hope for Millette and the kids she serves.
Time is going to keep going. I would just encourage folks to keep going, keep pushing forward, keep finding hope in the darkness, especially when it feels lost.
In Matthews, Hannah Getz, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Good perspective there from that grandfather, a lot of wisdom. Right after the storm, ABC's Robin Roberts was on the ground, reporting on the unimaginable death and destruction there. 20 years later, she is now back on the Gulf Coast, sharing their stories of resilience. ABC's special presentation, Hurricane Katrina, 20 years after the storm, airs tonight at 8, right here on Channel